Hey guys, welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm super excited to be talking about my fitness transformation, my weight loss, overcoming binge eating disorder, trying to figure out how to cure my skin because I can't eat gluten, and just basically my entire story. So I'm going to show you the beginning. So this is me when I was about 18, super lean, athlete. This is me 2 years later, gained about 45 pounds plus, and then this is me 2 years later. So I'm going to tell you about my journey and everything in between. Let's get started. So I was an athlete growing up. I was always super lean. I ate whatever I wanted. I was playing soccer 7 days a week, and I loved sports. Sports was all that mattered. So then I went to university on a soccer scholarship, and it went really well. It was awesome. And then the season ended, and I started drinking, and I started partying with my friends a lot. And we ended up like ditching classes all the time, and we were partying probably like 3 times a week, which was so unhealthy, but that's what we were doing. At this point, I had gained probably about 15 pounds, and it didn't really start weighing on me that much. It wasn't like super bad. I was like, hey, like you're like kind of unhealthy a little bit. I ended up quitting school just because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to waste the money. And I was like, and I don't know, like, you don't know what your purpose is. Why are you in school? You don't know what you want to take. You don't know what direction you want to go in. So I quit school, and then I moved in with some friends, and we ended up just partying, just being very unhealthy. Like anytime we weren't at work, we were literally just partying or watching movies and eating junk food. I really started putting on some weight. It was really kind of hard being around my friends because they were a lot skinnier than me, and we were eating like the same things, and it was really hard on my psychology because they weren't changing and I was, and I was kind of jealous of them. And it's not healthy to be jealous of your friends, but I was like, man, I wish I look like them. Like, why am I the only one that is gaining weight? Like, this sucks. So then I was like, hey, let's do something about it. Let's start working out. So then I was like, let's join a gym. So I joined this gym, and I didn't know what I was doing. I literally went to the cardio machines and would run for like 30 minutes and then do like some abductions and some abs and stretch and be out of there. And I was doing this for a couple months, and I was seeing zero progress whatsoever. Sorry. Just dying. It's fine. At this point, I was probably about like 30 pounds heavier than I was, or a little bit more, probably like 35, 40. I was really struggling. I was still eating bad, but still going to gym and hoping that eating bad and going to gym was gonna somehow save me, but it wasn't. And then I ended up meeting this boy, and we actually met at a bar, of course, because that's what I was doing all the time. But he was like super jacked, and he was super interested in me, and I was like, how is this super like jacked boy interested in me? Like, I was like, man, I'm kind of like a little bit chubbier than I normally was, and I was kind of just like doubting myself. But he's really cool. Still with him 4 years later. But I think it was a really healthy relationship for me to be in, because like I really wanted to get back in fitness because I loved sports and I loved being active, but I didn't know what I was doing. He really helped me. We started going to the gym together, and he was like, you can do the workouts that I'm doing. So I would go to the gym, and we would do the same workouts together for like, this happened for like a long time, until I started being more comfortable in the gym. And then as I became more comfortable in the gym, I started like steering away from doing workouts with him and kind of doing my own workouts. I still wasn't following a program or anything, so I wasn't seeing like optimal results, but I was like just feeling more comfortable, you know, starting to build my confidence. I was starting to lose a little bit of weight, but I still wasn't really happy. I was really struggling. I was still eating really bad. My mom had actually messaged me, and she was like, and there's this podcast I want you to listen to. This lady, she's really interesting. You should listen to it. It's just a really good talk to listen to. So I listened to it. It was about an hour long, and she was talking about a binge eating disorder. And I was like, what is that? I have no idea what binge eating is. And she was like talking about all the symptoms that you have and like all basically what is binge eating. Binge eating is like you can't control what you eat. When you're depressed, you eat. When you're sad, you eat past the point of uncomfortable. Like your stomach might be in pain, like so full, and you're still eating. Like you'll just stuff your face no matter what. Like anything in the house, gone. And I was like, I think I have this because this is literally how I've been reacting for the last few years now. Like I've literally like lied about some of the foods that I would have, or I would literally stuff my stomach past the point of being full, and I was eating probably more than my boyfriend was. And I think the realization of this like helped a little bit. Like clearly it didn't cure it, but I was like in this place where I was like, I know what's wrong with me. That was super helpful for me. So then at this point, my mom had been doing keto for about a year, and she had suggested it to me. She was like, you should try it, as well as intermittent fasting. I love intermittent fasting. I'm still doing it to this day. I've been doing it for about 3 years now. I started doing some research about keto, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. I really liked keto at first, actually. I mean, the not eating carbs was hard, but I was still eating foods that I liked. And I had a goal to go towards. So my brother's wedding was in about, like, it was probably 6 months. And I was determined to look skinny at the wedding. I was like, you can't look bad in the pictures. They're gonna be there forever. I'll show you guys a before picture. So this was me at my little brother's grad, and then this is me at my brother's wedding. I had a goal to go towards, and I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, we gotta lose the weight. Let's get it. I was eating like 1,200 calories keto, and it was unhealthy, but I was losing the weight. I was losing the fat. I was losing muscle, and I was so determined to be skinny for that wedding. It was a very unhealthy mindset to have, because it was like I would literally not starve myself, but starve myself like 1,200 calories. You should not be eating that during the week, and then on the weekends I would binge. I was still struggling with my binge eating disorder. It kind of like created this vicious cycle, eating really healthy and then binge eating like crazy. This happened for a while, but closer to the wedding, I was like obsessed with the scale. I was like 155, and I was like, you have to be 150. You need to look good at the wedding. So I would like stare at the scale every single day, and every day I would go like down a little bit within like a month or two. And if I was like over, I was like, no, you're not eating, there's no snacks, you're not binge eating. It wasn't healthy for me at all. I mean, I did lose the weight, and I was still proud of myself because I did lose a lot of weight. Like I probably lost about 37 pounds at this point. So it was like almost 40 pounds, and I was super stoked about it. But then after the wedding, I didn't have a goal to go towards, so I was kind of just that vicious cycle of eating healthy and then binging on the weekends was literally just back. And this probably went on for about a year until COVID happened. And basically I moved in with my mom and my sisters. It was probably one of the best things that could happen, just because my mom is like a super health nut, and I love that about her. She's amazing. She sends me stuff all the time. I'm so excited about it. Like, I love getting like health and fitness stuff from people now. I'm a weirdo, but it's fine. But basically I moved in with them, and at this point I actually ended up getting really bad acne on my face. I'll show you guys a before picture or video. And it got like, so as you can see right now, I just have scarring and like random zit because I was eating dairy. It got really bad, and I was very insecure because I do not like wearing makeup. I've never worn makeup. I've never been a person to like makeup. Like, I'm the kind of person that's like, you put something on my face, I'm gonna wash it right off. Like, I like touching my face. I don't like having weird stuff on my face. The only thing I get is lashes, but my skin started getting bad. So at this point I was like, okay, we gotta do something about it. I was like, we're cutting out gluten, we're cutting out sugar, and we're gonna try and eat as super healthy as we can, but still not deprive myself. So I was still intermittent fasting. So I would eat from like 12 to about 8 o'clock. Actually, I think it was like 7:36. I would kind of try to eat in a smaller time frame. So I was eating like oats, and then I'd have some eggs, and then I had some vegetables with some dip, and then I would have chia seed pudding. So I'd make like loaded chia seed pudding, and then some more vegetables, and then at supper time I was just having whatever the family was having, which was probably either like chicken or burgers minus the bread, so I just had like a plain burger with like salad and maybe like a baked potato and like sour cream. And then at night I was having Zevia Pops, and if you've heard of them, I really like the rhubarb kind. It's delicious. It's a really good sugar cut craving, so I was having probably one a day at night. And then I would have like a little bowl of the little veggie gluten-free chips. They're my favorite. They're so good. I could eat the whole bag. So I wasn't really depriving myself at all, which was really good because I was kind of just still eating my favorite foods, but also eating really healthy, and I was starting to feel really good. I actually ended up losing quite a lot of fat over the course of COVID being in lockdown for, I think it was like 3 months to, it was a little bit more than that. And halfway through, I actually ended up getting a foot injury, so I was unable to work out. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even stand in the kitchen for more than like a minute or two. Like cooking my food was excruciating amount of pain. The doctor said I had plantar fasciitis in both feet. I was in pain for probably over 2 months. Like I couldn't do anything. So at that point I had lost a lot of muscle. I wasn't even going on walks. I couldn't do anything. So I ended up losing a lot of weight. So I'll show you guys a picture right here. I mean, I was getting lean. Like I'll show you a picture here. I started getting some abs. I was like stoked about it, but I was still super skinny. I was probably I hit about 140. So at this point I had lost about 47 pounds altogether. And I was still super healthy. Like it wasn't unhealthy, but I had lost a lot of muscle just because I wasn't able to move much. I liked it a lot. I was like, I finally conquered my binge eating disorder. Like I finally overcame it. Like I finally can eat intuitively. And like people be like, do you want like these chocolate covered almonds? I'm like, no, I'm good. Or I'd be like, yeah, I'll have a couple, but then I would stop and I wouldn't eat the whole bag like I would in the past, which was a huge accomplishment for me. Overcoming binge eating was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So like this was like a huge thing for me, so I'm super happy. A few months later, I wanted to go from this, so having no glutes, and I was like, okay, it's time to make a little bit of progress because the gyms are open back up, your feet are no longer hurting, to this a couple months later. I started working out, and I wasn't following a program or anything, and then I was like, okay, we gotta do some research. We gotta figure this out. Time to do some glute research. I spent so much time studying about glutes and glute gain and progressive overload and how to build a really good program, what to eat, and all these things. So at this point, I started gaining a little bit weight because you do need to gain weight in order to build muscle, and you're gonna gain fat. It's just gonna happen, and I hold fat in my stomach, so it was a little bit hard on my psychology, but I was trying to be positive, like, look, you're doing it for the gains, you want glutes. I went from no glutes to glutes in probably like 3 months. And so now I built a program, a 12-week program, and I'm going to be testing out on the 1st of January to the end of March. And I really want to test out before I like actually share it with you guys, because I want to see how much progress I can make within like a short amount of time within that 3 months. So yeah, those are my new goals. So my new goal is just to make some glute gains, but still focus on my gut health, my skin, because my skin got really bad, but it is super clear now, so I'm super excited about it. It's a little shiny because I have some product on it right now. But my fitness journey was definitely not linear. Like I went through ups and downs the entire process. Like 3 years, it was like super hard, and then I finally figured it out. And I feel like this happens for a lot of people. So you shouldn't expect your journey to take a month. Like that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen in 3 months either. I mean, it could be a really good 3 months for you, but you have to be realistic that it probably took you a couple years to gain it, and it's gonna take you a couple years to figure out how it works for you and what works for you. You know, everybody's different. What I do might not work for you, but it might work for somebody else. It might only work for me. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment below or DM me at bodiesbyannie. I would love to help you guys out. If you have any questions at all, I'm here for you because I know how hard it is, and I want to be there for you guys. So again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on my next video.